From the Fly on the Wall release, AC/DC there with Shake Your Foundations, and kicking off the show tonight, we heard something from Airborne with When I Drink, I Go Crazy, and a guy who knows a little bit about drinking and going crazy, my good friend and partner, Chris Aiken. What's going on, Chris?
I think I did both last night, man.
Well, the reason I played that is because of that.
Oh, because you just assumed?
Well, I did speak with you just briefly today, and you did mention that you went out and had a good time and did tie one on a little bit last night.
I drank a little bit of a lot.
Well, there you go. So I wasn't wrong.
No, sir, you were not.
Yeah.
It was a Chris, John, and Stephanie normal night, so you can imagine what that means.
Well, there you go. So you were able to get out and enjoy yourself a little bit on a Friday night. And me, I didn't do shit. I came home and I caught up on a little bit of independent YouTube content creator news, which is where I get my news from these days. I don't watch anything that is quote unquote mainstream.
Why would you at this point?
Well, you wouldn't. And so by the time I got done, looking at that stuff, I was going to watch something on Netflix or Amazon Prime, and I turned it on, and I didn't even see the beginning of whatever it is I was trying to watch. I just passed out.
You were out.
Yeah, it was a stressful week. It's just the last few weeks, for me has been just balls ass busy and just stressful because a lot of mental work.
Right. The jobby job is beating your ass a little bit.
Well, the thing is that I have to take the Indiana toll road every day, and they've got it all torn up for the last 10 miles of it. Ugh, so I have to get off the toll road because it's always just backed up for miles because they got it down to one lane because they're resurfacing the whole thing and rebuilding bridges and all kinds of shit. So right. I have to wind my way through on surface streets for the last 10 miles, and that takes my ride to work when everything is normal is usually about 50 minutes. Now it takes me about an hour and 15 minutes to get there. So I got an hour, 15-minute ride each way every day. So that's 2.5 hours of my day just in the car.
An extra hour of driving.
Yeah. And then, just the job and the busyness and this Trump economy and everything just, busting ass.
Yeah. Well, at least you're making money, man. At least you're employed. At least you're able to maintain the lifestyle, and you don't have to go back to the cab, and you don't have to go back to the Indians. It could be a lot worse, man.
Speaking of the Indians,
yeah,
I had a job that I did that a majority of the people who work for this company, I'm not going to mention the company, but it used to be a very proud American company, but a majority of it is now in India.
Okay.
And having to deal with the people that work there as far as their AP department and getting paid and all this other stuff, you have to deal with Indians. And it's just harbingers of flashing me back to almost 5 years ago working with the Indians. And it's just this is why I can't stand working with these people.
Yeah, dude, it's a pain in the ass. I had an Indian mess this week. Give me my Indian Tales bumper. I'm going to go right into an Indian Tale if you can find the bumper real fast. Okay,
I will find the Indian Tales bumper.
Because I have an Indian's Tale to tell from Monday.
All right.
I think it was Monday or Tuesday, one of these days this week. In fact, I think it was this week. I'm not even sure.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Wendell, this is your boss, your employer. I command you to come back to work. The Penske files are piling up on your desk, and your TPS reports are overdue. I will forgive your absence because you are a radio jockey, but you must kiss all 4 arms of Ganesha and bring me 1 pound of curry as penalty. I will expect your service Monday morning. Do not disappoint me, Wendell.
Weezy did such a great job on that bumper.
It's the best bumper we have, I think.
It's one of them. He's done some pretty stellar bumpers.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So, as is no real secret, I self-publish all my books.
What?
I know. Amazing,
you
right?
do stuff on your own? You're independent?
Oh, that's what an independent content creator does. He independently creates his content.
Absolutely. Just like us.
Yeah, just like in this field of my life, we do it independently.
Right.
Imagine that.
Right.
So it used to be called CreateSpace was the company, and it's a division of Amazon, and now I think it's called Amazon, it's AKX or something. I don't know what it is, but it's a new name, but it's the same fucking company. But it's Amazon. That's basically who it is. So I had to order 5 copies of Call Me Chris because I had a burn victim person that I was talking to, and I told him I'd send a book, and then I didn't have books, so I had to order books. Doesn't matter why. I had to order some books. So I ordered up some books, and I get the books in the mail, and I go through them real quick, and in one of the books, the first 18 pages of the book are somebody else's book.
So they kind of mixed and matched.
Yeah, just with one of the books, but it's only the first 18 pages. Page 19 is my page 19, and then the rest of the book is fine.
Right, I gotcha.
Well, you know me. Normally I would just throw it away and not even think about it. The reason I called them was because I actually needed 5, so I wanted to get them to FedEx me an extra book. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I do what you're supposed to do. I make the phone call. I call over to Amazon. Ring, ring. Hello, this is Bob.
Yep.
This is Bob.
Bob. Yeah, Bob.
And I just started laughing, and he goes, "What can I do for you, sir?" And I tell him the story about the book. So he asked me first, "What can I do?" Basically saying, "What's the problem?" Right?
Right.
I go through the whole spiel. I ordered the books. Here's the order number. Here's the first 18 pages, that aren't right. Bop. So then he goes, "What is the email address on your account?" And I give him the email address, and he goes, "And now I need the last 4 of your social security number." I give him that. He goes, "I see your order here. What can I do to help you?"
Yeah.
And I was like, son of a bitch, here we fucking go.
Right.
So then I again tell him my story about the first 18 pages, and it's, I need the other book. And he goes, "Well, I do not know what that means. What do you mean 18 pages? And that's when I got annoyed. And I literally was like, "Do you know what a book is?" "Oh, yes, a book. I was like, "There's pages in a book, right?" Yes, pages in the book." I was like, 18 of them are somebody else's book. "Well, sir, how did that happen?"
Yes, how it happened?
Yeah. And I was like, "I don't fucking know how it happened. That's why I'm calling you. I don't know." And he goes, "Well, I would like to take care of you, but you need to speak to somebody in the CreateSpace department." I was like, "Okay, well, I called that number." "Yes, but we have to send you to level 2. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. So they put me on hold for like 10 fucking minutes. So now I'm really getting fucking annoyed. So I get the next guy. The next guy comes on. "Hello, this is Abu Desh." Or some fucked up name. He had some fucked up name. "This is Abu Desh."
This is Banil.
Yeah. "This is Banil. What is your name?" I tell him my name. He goes, "And what is the email address on the account?" And I'm like, "Did the other guy not tell you this fucking information?" No. He tells me that you have a book with no pages.
With no pages.
And I was like, oh, my God. So I give him my information again, and he looks up the order, and he goes, yes, I see that you ordered 5 books. And I say, yeah, and one of the books has these 18 pages that were not right. Oh, I do not understand how that could have happened, but we will remedy the situation immediately.
Uh-huh.
I was like, okay. I was like, can you send me another book? I need the other book. He's like, well, first, open the book to the last page, and there is a number. That is the book number.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the book number. So I tell him the fucking book number. And he goes, okay, now open another of the books and tell me that book number. And I said, I don't have any of the other ones. I already used those.
They're
those
already sent away. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I can track this problem if I don't have some other number from another book. And I was like, I'm telling you the one that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's the one that's fucked up. And so I get in this argument with this guy about this book, and finally he goes, well, what I can do is I can refund you for the book. And I was like, I don't want a refund for the book. I want you to send me another book. Well, you can order another book. I was like, so now I'm going to have to pay. I need the book now. I ordered it in time, and I'm going to have to pay 20 extra bucks for the shipping on this to get it overnighted to me. I'm sorry, sir, but yes. So, long story short, I was like, fine, refund me the fucking money. So he refunds me the big $6.02, which I immediately had to turn and spend $26.02 to get the fucking book.
Right.
So there you have it. The Indian tale of the week. It did not go well when I called Amazon this week.
Yeah. Well, since you do some web work for me, I'm constantly getting these Google AdWords people calling.
Yeah, you sicked one on me this week.
Well, I know. That's why I was going there, because I didn't know if the guy actually called you.
Oh,
but,
he did.
Oh, yeah. Hello, my name is Joe, and how are you, my friend? I says,
Everyone was my friend with that guy.
Yeah, I know. And I was just like, well, I don't know that you're my friend because I don't even know you. I am calling because you are not utilizing your Google AdWords to its full potential. I need to talk to Chris. I said, well, Chris doesn't work in this office. Well, how do I get to talk to this Chris, my friend?
My friend.
I said, well, actually, Chris is my friend. But I will, tell you how to get a hold of him.
Yeah.
That would be very appreciative, my friend. I need to talk to Chris about these Google AdWords.
Yeah. You want to hear those? You want to hear how that went?
Well, tell me how it went, because this guy was the thick Indian accent, but his name was Joe.
His name was Joe. Hello, Joe.
My name is Joe, my friend.
Yes.
It's not funny. You don't sound like a Joe.
Or my friends.
Yeah.
No, he calls and got the same thing. Hello, Chris. This is Joe, my friend. How are you today? And so he starts telling me about, are you working with this company, my friend? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I see a problem in bup. And I said to him, well, are you from Google? And he goes, well, we work with Google AdWords. I was like, no. Are you from Google? Well, we work with Google with the AdWords. And I was like,
so the answer is no.
The answer is no. And so I said to him, well, tell me what I'm doing wrong. And now, needless to say, with some backstory, I don't want to turn this into a whole work discussion, but the backstory is when myself and my son work on your account.
Yes.
We work every single month directly with Google.
Right.
Like, we do a call with Google every month. So Google helps us keep it with the very current algorithms and with the very current structure and whatnot.
Right.
So if there was a problem, Google would tell us. If we were doing something fucked up, Google would tell us. So this guy says to me, he goes, well, I need to get your login information so I can tell you what we see that is not correct.
No, there's no login information for you, my friend.
Yeah, my friend, beat it. And I was like, I think I said beat it, and I hung up on him.
Yeah. What do you mean by this beat it, my friend?
Take your putt in your hand and pound.
Yeah. Yeah, pal.
Yeah, pal. Beat it.
Yeah. What is with, and again, I know we don't want to turn this into a whole work discussion thing, but what is it with this Google AdWords? I must get literally 4 calls a week about Google AdWords. What the hell is going on with that?
It's the buzz thing. It's the big money. It's where all the money's being made. So everybody wants, basically when those guys call you, they want to replace me.
Yeah, I kind of got that.
Yeah, that's their gig. Is they want to manage the AdWords,
right? Of course.
Then they'll charge you a fee. They'll charge you. Well, we'll do it for $500 a month plus your ad costs or whatever. So and they don't even know your budget. See, that's all they somehow find out. And I don't even know how they find it out, but they somehow know that you're using AdWords. Well, I guess they probably do Google searches and they see who comes up in the ads.
Right.
And the thing is that there are companies, I have my friend Craig, he works for big companies, and they have like $1 million a month AdWords budgets.
Wow.
And they pay him like 10% to manage it.
That's like a finder's fee of like 10%.
Yeah. That would be right there, Wendell. 10% of 1 million.
Right. 100,000, huh?
That would be much money for our company here in India.
Right.
That would buy full plumbing for my home and my mother.
That's a lot of rupees.
Lot of rupees. I could celebrate Ganesha with style.
we will have a very prosperous what is it, Diwali this year.
Diwali will have lots of fireworks, the good kind, not the cheap ones.
I tell you, just working with the Indians and see how steep they are in their mystic and magical powers. Mm-hmm. Just every year, Diwali, it's kind of like their New Year type thing. Sure. It doesn't happen the same time every year. It's during space. It could happen anywhere between like October and January.
Right.
It's not the same every year, and they have a tradition. I think it's called the something about the celebration of lights or something.
Okay.
And they believe that they have their spiritual rituals where they bring in their bring in one of their priests with the smoking purse.
Oh, good.
And he walks through the building, swinging this smoking purse around, chasing out any bad spirits that will come to the business.
Nice.
And then they leave all the lights on in the entire building for 24 hours.
Because what does that do?
Well, I guess it kind of scares away any kind of spirits that might be lurking in the dark.
So the spirits are afraid of the light.
Well, they can't get any rest in the light. So, you got these restless spirits that are be chasing out with the smoking purse and the ritual dancing, and then they leave all the lights on.
How could I not know that?
So that must be a cool gig, though, to be able to just like chant some words and light up this little incense box and whip that around your head, or swing that back and forth.
Right.
Just chasing out spirits and stuff.
Right.
They used to clear out the entire conference room. They used to move the conference room table out of there with all the chairs and everything, and they'd clear out the entire room. And then they'd lay this blanket down, like from, the whole, cover the entire floor with these ritual blankets.
Oh, God.
And they'd sit, well, because then they'd sit there on the floor, cross-legged. And they'd sit there and do their, their chanting and all that other shit.
Fingers like this?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then they'd have all the traditional foods like the dates and the, all the, fruits and shit like that.
Today is the day of the apple.
It is. It is. It's funny.
It is the day of the apple and the cow.
No, the elephant.
The elephant is a very special. That is your Christmas.
It is. It's just, I don't know, man. I people can do whatever the hell they want to do, but boy,
that's a fucked up place with fucked up customs.
Yeah. You can go ahead and do all your customs and all your rituals and all your little chanting and all that other stuff and eating your special, magical fruit and stuff, but
yeah, leave us the fuck out of it.
It's so funny. It's just like, all right, go about your business there.
Right.
Kiss all four arms of Ganesha.
That's right.
Have your curry and all the other stuff that you eat.
That's right, and then go shit in the street.
Yeah. But don't eat any meat, though.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Damn Indians.
Yep.
Yeah. Hello, my friend.
Hello, Joe. It is me, Chris, calling you back. What did you need, my friend?
So good. Oh, goodness. Well, speaking of Joe, our good friend Joe Cleon is in the chat room.
He is.
He is. He's a friend of the show, and when I see his name pop up there every now and again, I always think back to years ago when he used to do his show on terrestrial radio out of North Canton.
Okay.
What was it? WRQK?
I think so. Yeah, the rock of
Canton's rock station.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe used to do a show, and I used to listen all the time.
Look at you. That's a Joe Cleon groupie.
Yeah, it was before I knew Joe.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so every time I see him, it's just like, hey, there's a fellow Akron guy who did radio as well as us.
Probably better.
Yeah, probably better.
Probably better.
No doubt about that.
The hate that I got this week, I would think anybody's better than us.
And what kind of a hate did you get this week, Mr. Aiken?
You're closing the Facebook. You're ruining the show. It's over now.
You ruined the show?
I did get a ruined the show email.
Really? The show is now ruined.
The show is ruined because we can't comment on the best Scorpions album or whatever on Facebook.
Really? That's what our other social media sites are for.
That's right. God forbid we have standards.
Oh, so how did you get these messages through Facebook Messenger or email or what?
Facebook, email. I got a couple of emails. I got some Facebook messages on the actual show Facebook. They just Twitter. I got some tweets. Any way they can contact, they did. It's fine. I get it. People don't agree with our stance, and that's fine. They don't agree. It's fine with me.
Okay.
Whatever. I mean, there's nothing I can do about people not agreeing with me. I'm under the impression that they started a new Classic Metal Show fans group.
Okay.
Good luck with it. Have fun with it. That's that.
All right.
I don't see what the problem is.
I don't either. But all right. Well, it's nice to have fans, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I made a place where I'll be. If I'm the factor, then I'll be on Minds or Gab. Or Reddit.
Yeah. That's how it works, pal.
Yeah, because I don't want to be on Facebook anymore. What do you mean you can't comment on Minds? Of course you can comment on Minds. And you can comment on Gab, and you can certainly comment on Reddit. That's what Reddit is.
Well, I just got one message for those people.
Okay, what is that?
You crying, boy? Maybe we'll go back down to McDonald's and get you a Lamburger and some French fries. How about a Weineken? You little sissy boy!
That's what I got for you.
Yeah. Call the wambulance.
Yeah. Get yourself some wah burgers and some French fries.
Right.
Wah. Of course, you know me. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you don't care either way.
I don't care one way at all.
It's just less work for me, so I got work to do. And as we've said for months and months, we want to do away with as much of fucking Facebook and Twitter and Instagram as we can.
Yeah, we don't support outlets that don't support us.
That's right,
pal.
I mean, I'll still post the links to the show and shit, on the main Facebook page, but that's it. I'm not being on Facebook for anything anymore. Is the CMS on MySpace?
Yeah, we're on MySpace.
Exactly.
We've migrated back to MySpace because that was a much better platform.
I'd imagine you could say whatever the fuck you want on MySpace now and nobody would worry about it.
Yeah. No kidding.